Hello, everyone. It is August. How in the world did that happen? It's crazy. It's crazy to see that other states are starting school already too. I think all of us, except for Carrie, you're Arkansas, right? Carrie, when do you guys start school?
The 18th.
Ooh.
Wait, of August?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Or the 25th.
Okay. Some California schools started today. Some Texas schools started today. Some start next week.
Is it bad that I kind of wish that was the case? I mean that in all love.
Not at all. Not at all.
Shoot, we still got a month. I mean, it's gonna be great. Vacation out to Montana. It's gonna be wonderful. But I need to survive until then first. Anyways, that's
right. Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
I know. Then I wonder, how early do they get out?
Yeah.
Or they must have longer breaks, obviously. So kind of fun. New incentive trip started yesterday. So that's what this call is all about. All about the incentive, how to earn it, what to go after to be able to make sure that you get it. I think, so my experience with earning a trip, I've earned quite a few. It's been a while since I've earned a real big lavish one. I've taken reunion a few times since I've had kiddos, but going back, looking at Hawaii, we could earn it just on PRV alone. That was my very first incentive trip. And I know I recruited and I know I did that, but it wasn't as serious as selling. I sold a boatload of product. I sold in November of 2010, right? Or was it? No, 2009, because we went in 2010. I sold $10,000 in 1 month because I wanted that dang trip. Mm-hmm. I remember meeting Jerry Franz, who was my superstar director at the time. And I'm like, I'm just going to go sell. And I did fundraisers and I had 23 parties booked that month. I had no kids. I was working at Home Depot. I could do I worked mornings. I was coaching. Yeah, I did all the things. I messed up on one party. I didn't show up. So at the right time, she's like, you're supposed to be here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just had the time that I was supposed to be there versus the party. It got messed up, but thankfully it was in Sartell. I lived 3 minutes from her house. I got there. She had a fabulous party. She was one of my very best customers for a long time. So it worked out, but I thought 23 parties and only had one major hiccup.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. So you can do crazy numbers like that, or you can sponsor, and then that's really how you can get your points added up faster, because you're teaching them to do what you're doing so that they then advance and then have them sponsor as well. And really, honestly, when you look at the rewards of points, and if you're brand new and if you're eager, or if you have a team, or maybe not even started a team, maybe you're not brand new, but maybe you haven't really recruited yet, you can make huge amount of points by starting your business very fast with sponsoring and growing and teaching your frontline to do the exact same thing that you're doing. But the thing of it is make a plan. You have to have a roadmap of where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Because if you don't look at it now, come December, you're going to go, oh, schnuckers, I should have done this. I should have done that. Oh, why did I never think to do this? Oh, if I would have helped Sally grow her business, I could have gotten those 1,000 points, right? because you don't want to miss the trip by like 500 points, because that would just be sad. Okay. So when we're talking tonight, Kate posted this great sheets, these 2 sheets. And there's so much information out in the Scentsy world. These are great though. You can print them back to back or just have them. I printed 3 copies because I like to like wish and dream, and then I'm like, that's not right. So then I'm going to go back and I'm going to make like a final copy to figure out where I can really get my points. Okay. So all of you can read the FAQ. All of that information is out there. I'm not going to bore you with reading it because I think that is just absolutely boring. So if you need help, if you're reading through it and you're like, I don't get it, message your sponsor, your director, your star director, your superstar director. We will go through it with you. But it's honestly like, I want to get down to like the nitty gritty part of this. And I really want to keep this short. So all of the qualifications are at the top of the sheet that Kate posted along like this first sheet, right? And it has all of the details of how you can earn points. So take this, go and look at your downline. So open up your screen of your performance tab, run a report, see who all is in your front line and write them all down. Okay. And what level they're at. So I'm going to write Kate, Cassie, Courtney, Cameo, Carrie. Like I'm just going to keep going down. And then I'm going to write what level they're at. Okay. So then I can see, and even like, so let's say Kate has a team of 104. I'm going to put that. And then her title, director. So then her next title will be star director. So how can so she's on my list, but thinking about how can I help her get to star director, then I'm going to reach out to Kate and say, hey, Kate, what do you think about this incentive trip? Are you going for it? Look at her hat. I think she's going to go for it, right? She is all in. Okay. And
I
then,
am all in.
that's awesome. Then come up with a plan with Kate and figure out, okay, if she wants to get to star director, let's look within her team. Who is her next director? Okay. And you're just like following the steps and how can you get it so that it makes the most sense of getting to those points. Okay. I mean, it's really like just digging down into each individual person. And then once you're done with that, then you need to go, okay, look at the points. If this were to happen, let's say if Kate gets to star director, you would get 8,000 points. Kate would get 8,000 points. I, as a sponsor, would get 1,000 points. Okay. So that counts for your non-PRV points. Anything that is not considered PRV is great to earn because you have to have sponsoring points on this bottom. And a lot of times that's where the struggle is, right? As consultants, sometimes we really struggle with the sponsoring because we can sponsor people, but we can't make them do anything that they don't want to do. So if you're, looking at it and you're going to go, okay, I'm going to sponsor 6 people, then think about that. Maybe half of those people would maybe hit certified. Okay. So if you're looking at adding, if you want to get your 8,000 points for your sponsoring points, you got to recruit more than 8 people. But we just started yesterday and you have until January 31st. So you've got some time. So the next 2 months, I would say super heavy on sponsoring conversations. Any single time you have a party over 200 in PRV, you need to be posting it that you have a host exclusive kit. You don't have to give it away. You can have the $59, But every single time you're posting about that, that's just another way to get the conversation started out there. Okay. Some of you might have a list of people that have considered joining or have talked to you about joining, or maybe like things when you talk about joining, or comment about like, oh my gosh, you have like the perfect life, or oh my gosh, like you have so much fun. Well, yeah, it is fun, right? So keep a list of everyone. I also, if you don't have that list, because guess what? My list is totally dried up. I have 0 people on it. Makes me want to puke, but that's okay, because I can open my mouth and I can start having conversations with random people, because if I want this trip, it's what I'm going to have to do. I have to do things that I'm not doing to get the results that I'm not getting. Okay.
So something that I do, I'm going to feed off that, Ann, is something that I do is when I post like a join special. I don't know if you guys saw that picture that's going around with the join special, you put your picture up on the top. If someone likes that, or like, well, even if they like it, because okay, they can comment on it and be like, oh, that's all so awesome. But if they like it or they love it, I reach out to them right away when I see that. And I say, hey, did you, like, let me know if you want it. I'm not going to say, I'm going to send you information. I'm going to say, hey, let me know if you want any information on joining. Just, it's fine. It's a hook in the eye. No. So I say, hey, let me know if you want any information on joining, no pressure. Like, so I'm making it like it's no big deal. And I've had people be like, yeah, send me information on joining. So that's something that I do. I just wanted to feed off of, your post or what you were saying. And like, when they like or comment on that, reach out to them, because more than half the time, they're not going to say anything to you about, I want to join. Nope. You got to open that door for them more than likely. So open that door for them. And don't look at a person and be like, yeah, they would never join my team. Don't put that decision on them already. You have to ask them. And like my goal is to recruit 14 people and get them certified for this incentive. That's what I'm going for. And I'm like, where do I even go with it? Where am I? Because my list is dry too. And I'm sitting here like, uh-oh, but doesn't mean that I'm not going to work for it. So yeah, sorry. I just had to throw that in there.
And that's cool, Kate. So Kate's working towards annual mentor award, and 14 is that lucky number. Okay. So if you are looking at that as well, this is the perfect opportunity. The other cool thing about, like, let's say you recruit quite a few this coming incentive period, you can batch, like, I hate to call it batch training, but you can like train all of your newbies together, right? So let's say you recruit 4 to 5 people a month. You don't have to have each individual conversation. You could put them in a little Facebook group together, and then you reach out to all of them consistently, right? But then they all form connections with each other, and then they help each other, and they answer questions and that sort of thing too. So don't think of it as like, oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna do this? Like that, Missy Silcox swears by that. She does amazing with recruiting, but she batches them together. So everyone in 1 month goes into this group, and she just continuously feeds them information that they need to know. And she said, everyone trains everybody. She's like, it is so fabulous, it makes a ton of sense, right? I gotta plug my computer in before I die. Okay,
I have, as soon as you're done, I have another thing.
go for it.
So I think a lot of times we're talking about sponsoring, and that's how you get, part of the points for the trip. And that is really helpful. I think for those of you that don't have teams, or those of you that have wanted to sponsor, but it's been hard, or it's hard to even like ask, or like, what do you do on social media? What do you do with all that? I look back, and the times where I've sponsored the most has been when I have had a lot of parties. Now, lately, I have not had a lot of parties. I've asked, but it just hasn't been that way this summer, which is completely different than last summer. And so I think not only like thinking about sponsoring, but let's just like take one step at a time, because this trip, it can be really daunting looking at a piece of paper and thinking, I cannot recruit 14 people. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't even recruit one person. So I think taking it one step at a time and thinking, how can I put myself out either on social media, handing out people, or handing out flyers, talking to people at my kids' sporting events. How can I start talking about Scentsy? Not like, hey, you want to join my team? Hey, you want to join my team? But hey, we just got a new catalog. There's an air purifier in it. Like, isn't that so cool? Like having those conversations like that just to get your feet wet. Because I remember when I earned my last incentive, like the full thing, it was because I actively tried to think about talking about Scentsy and showing people, not like flyers, not brochures. Like, yes, I had catalogs, but it's more about showing the Scentsy life, right? Like talking about the new warmers, talking about all the amazing scents. So starting from that one step of getting parties, getting scents under noses, talking about this join kit, or like the free shooting star kit. I think just think about what your like first step is going to be to get to your goal, and then start working from there. Because I get overwhelmed when I look at a whole bunch of stuff in front of me and I'm like, I can't do that, and then all that negative stuff comes in. So just start with like one thing each day that you can do to either have more parties, or get a party, or talk to one person, or post in one group, or whatever that is. And like, we can all bounce ideas off of each other if you want. So like, reach out, all of us will be checking in. But I just wanted to put that out there, because I think when people who are already like me, I'm already struggling with sponsoring, and yeah, my goal is 14 as well, Kate. Like, I'm going for it, but that's because I know it can happen. And so I think when you haven't done that yet, when you haven't gotten your first team member, it can feel like, oh snap, I can't do this. No, peace out. I'm not going to do this. Yes, you already need to be on this boat. You need to be on this boat with the rest of us, because we're all going to be there and we're all going to have a really good time. So just think of your one step, and maybe we can start like a thread of in like a group or whatever on what our first steps are going to be, or in the like if there's a Facebook, like a messenger group or whatever we want to do. But just think about the first step. That was my 2 cents.
Cass, so like me, first thing I did was I looked at, okay, how many points do I need and what level do I want? Well, I want Scott and I to go on this trip, right? Exactly. I want Scott and I go on this trip. So I'm going for level 3.
Yep.
That's my goal, level 3. And don't be like, well, if I don't make level 3, and well, it's no big deal. Like, focus on that level. So then you look at, and like, I can look at the points, it's 45,000 points, that I could be like, holy moly, I'm never going to be able to do this. No. So then I started breaking it down. Well, what do I want for PRV a month? That's where you write in your PRV a month. Make a plan. Oh yeah, I did a breakdown and everything.
I was like, this is what I was doing. I was like, I'm mapping this sucker out. That's what I'm doing.
So you gotta, like what Ann said, you gotta map, what did you say, a road trip. So know what level you want. So pick up, choose your level. Okay, now we gotta make an action plan, how we're gonna get that. What's your PRV? You'll get paid at title. You'll have certain amounts that you're getting every month for paid at title. Yep. So fill that, wrong sheet. Fill this in. And if you have to adjust it, print out another one or throw it on the back. But you have to make a plan of how you're going to make this happen. You can't just sit here and wish for it and then it just happens. It usually is not successful that way. And then if I'm your sponsor or whatnot, like, reach out to me and we'll come up with a game plan. Like, Katie, I don't even know what to do. We got tons of events happening. It's going to be fall, winter season, ton of events that can happen. Ask for referrals, do Facebook parties. There's a plethora of things that we can do, but it's just breaking it down. But then again, showing people that you're having fun, because if people see that you're having fun and it's bringing out to join you, they're going to want to be with you. So, and does that make sense? So yeah, that's.
I have a question, Anne.
Yep, go ahead.
Is that the incentive group, the Facebook group, is that still open for?
If people want to join, they'd have to join today and do the first homework, the first 2 pictures today.
Okay.
Because next month, like, the homework already went out today. But yeah, so like I said in other previous videos, about there is a specialized group that we're zoning in. We have homework. Yes, there's homework. There's topics of, I'm kind of getting off a track here. Maybe I should wait to the end to do this.
Sorry, you can table that question. I was
Sponsoring
just
parties, money-making activities, stepping outside your comfort zone, host kit ideas, self-care and routine, systems, free, getting back on track, pivoting, and accountability are all of the things that we'll be talking about each week. So if you want that like detailed, like this is what I need to do to earn this trip, then you need to be in that group. Okay. It's gonna be work, but you're not gonna earn the trip without work. That's the thing. That's the kicker, right? Like you could probably earn it by, getting lucky and sponsoring a bunch of people, and then they go and have gangbusters. But it will be a little bit more challenging to get it that way. So yeah. So if you're watching this replay, you contact me, depending on when you can, because they wanted us all in by yesterday. So yeah. And if you are in that group and haven't done the 2 like pre-homework, then get on it, get doing it tonight, because
We don't want you to be like, oh, homework, because that homework is actually just going to push you to get you closer to what you want out of the incentive. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And the first homework that we had today was mapping out your plan, which a ton of us already had done. Right.
Okay.
So that's basically what, the first homework was. So it's not even like, oh, I have to go and recruit 10 people today. Like it really isn't that. This group also they're going to have a ton of different superstar directors that we don't know, that I don't know, that I haven't really seen at other, they're just different people that I don't associate with. And I love it because I'm getting new ideas. And they're bringing the fire that maybe I needed to get back. Like they're igniting my fire. So maybe that's where you guys are at. And you're like, oh, I want to earn the trip, but I don't know. And I like if you need that fire to like blaze, then reach out to me so we can get you in that group, because it's going to be really good. Like there's a ton of chatter in a group that I'm a part of with these ladies, and it's crazy. It's so cool. So very, very cool. All right. So let's go back. Kind of what Cassie, and kind of going back to like the mapping of it. So we talked about like doing your front line and figuring out where they are. And then, yes, like Kate said, you want to go back and you want to fill in your roadmap, because this top portion is where you see yourself going. How are you going to get there? What does it look like? Do I want to do, all of my PRV a lot in the beginning, so then at the end of the incentive period, like I can make sure that it's banked and that I don't have to worry about it? And then going through your list of consultants, you will know who will promote or maybe hit certified of your current consultant. So you can kind of get those numbers planned in here, right? So making sure that you have those numbers, do the best that you can at paid at rank. Maybe you have a goal, a personal promotion goal, and write that in there. Like, how fast can you get it? Or do you have a really big goal and it's going to take you a bit? Then you need to write those steps. Okay, I'm at lead right now, and then I want to be at star at October, and then superstar consultant at December. Whatever you want, then plug that in there so that you know exactly where you're at. Really give yourself like a solid, yes, I need to this is where I need to be. Because if you don't, I guarantee you're not going to earn the trip. If you're like, I'm just going to wing it. Sorry, but I think that isn't the best plan for a trip like this. Not saying that you can't do it, but it's very hard to just wing it. So really sit down and really focus on this sheet and look at it and try to like really figure out like where I need to go. So then what happens as you get through the months, you can actually type in your points to see where you're at, and you can see if you're above or you're below. Like maybe I need to have more party conversations or recruiting conversations, or I need to go back and I need to talk to my frontline and say, how can I help you? Like, what is your goal? Maybe they don't have a goal. Then maybe figure out a goal together. Like, it's really going to be a lot of looking at where you're going and then where you've been for like going forward. So yeah,
And-
it's going to be great.
Something that I always do too is every morning, even though I know I haven't like earned any more points, I always look at the incentive tab because I'm a visual person and I like to see where my little blue markers are on that stuff and looking at that incentive tab.
Yep.
Always tracking my progress. So that's something that helps push me too. Like, okay, I only need this. I need this. I need that or whatever. So
Right.
that's something else you can do too.
And you can look at your front line
Yep.
and see where they're at. I will get a report weekly. On Mondays, I get a report of everyone in my downline. So if you guys are ever like, hey, I can't reach out to so-and-so is not reaching out to me or getting back to me, or, you know, they had questions or whatever. If you need numbers, let me know. Because you can only see your front line, right? And sometimes you need to see the person that's their second or third or fourth generation and you can't see them. Let me know because I have them. So if you're trying to get someone to go, right? Or to like get on that boat. Yes. So that's kind of like the plan on how I see earning the incentives towards your advantage is to make that roadmap. You can then adjust it as needed. You can recalculate, you can turn around, you can pivot, you can do all the things mid-October. If you're like, okay, this is not going how I want it to go, then you know where you need to go, right? And then you can make those changes. Listening to that group that we were talking about, they had a call yesterday on sponsoring, and Dana was really like hit it on the head about like, if you don't believe in sponsoring and if you don't believe that Scentsy can change someone's life, you will have a very hard time sponsoring, because it's not about us, it's about how Scentsy can change their life. So when you're posting or sharing or talking, it's really a lot about asking them questions. What would you do with extra $500 a month? How are you going to pay for Christmas? How, would you like to go on a trip? I mean, really, it's asking them, like, what do you see in Scentsy being fun? Or how could Scentsy bring you joy? Right? Like if someone started having a conversation with me about Scentsy like that, I'd probably get more excited than, oh, you should do this. You'd be so good. And and you can earn this trip and you can do this. And like, if we just word vomit all over them, it's going to be really hard to get them to sign up. And then also looking at how are we presenting it? Are we really 100% behind everything that Scentsy is? And do we stand behind them 125%? And share about authenticity, about giving more than you take. Like, make posts about that, because adding value to the world. Like, sometimes people aren't in it for money. Is it a benefit to some people? Absolutely. Some people want it for community. Some people want it for a tax write-off. Like there could be so many different things that someone wants to join. So if we're asking right away, how would Scentsy benefit you? Or what would your Scentsy life look like? And if you could hear them say, oh, I just want to be able to hang out with fun people. Okay, let's talk about our meetings. Let's talk about our world tour. Let's talk about all these different places that we can meet up as consultants. Our Facebook group, like, like every other week we have game night and we have this or that. Like, if we can then narrow that conversation that way versus like, oh, you can earn a trip, you got tax write-offs, they could care less about some of those details if they really are focused on the community. Those details will come, they'll get, all of that information, but really streamline to look at it as what is in it for them. I had a consultant reach out to me last month. She was one of my consistent customers. She all of a sudden was like, hey, I want to join. And I was like, okay, great, cool. Here's my link, sign up. Like, really didn't ask her anything about it. Like, I was just like, okay, I've asked her a few times. Like, she had an open party link. So she got her kit for like pretty inexpensive. She got, half offs. And then now she sent an email saying to Scentsy, she's done. Like, didn't even get her starter kit. Like, what happened? Like, shame on me that I never even like started the conversation. Like, how is this going to bring you what you want out of Scentsy? I look back at the conversation and it was like, ew, I just wanted that recruit, but that was shame on me because that's not what Scentsy's about. So really focus on like, when we're looking at people to join Scentsy, let's have those conversations. Let's ask them if they have goals. Let's ask them where they see themselves. Maybe they just want the discount. Awesome. Still can do that. Still can have, a great experience with that. And we can sometimes turn them, right? Like sometimes people join for the discount and then they see all the fun that we're having. And then it's like, oh, wait, this is super fun. I can do this. But if we just really need to focus on the conversations we're having. And also with parties, like it's such a different vibe with parties right now, right? Like it's harder to get home parties, basket parties. It's almost like you have to be like strategic about it. But then I think back to like the basics, and does it just have to be basic and easy for someone to be like, yeah, I can do that? Like, I think about my business, like, am I making it too difficult? Like, oh, do you want a pod party? Do you want a basket party? Do you want a bingo party? Do you want a Facebook party? Like, maybe I just have to go back to the very basics and be like, I have basket parties and that's how I do my parties. You can take my testers with you and you can get orders and then we'll go from there. I don't know. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if I can get basket parties going back again, because honestly, I think that has always been the best way for me to get really good parties. And I keep trying Facebook parties and I keep failing at Facebook parties, and I keep trying Facebook parties and I keep failing at Facebook parties. Like, I just cannot get them to go, which is fine. But others have amazing Facebook parties, amazing ones. So it just kind of depends on you as the consultant and you as the person. The other thing, we're gonna say something, Kate? Oh, you're muted.
I am.
Now you're not.
Oh, I was just gonna kind of add on to that. Like, I always make a list to like, make a list. Like if I have like this idea in my head, like I'm gonna take a picture of me with this hat and say, I am so excited because I am gonna go to Alaska. Like I'm gonna make it fun. And so, but like, even when you have like those little, different ideas, write it down and then do them, like implement that on social media or wherever it is, Instagram, whatever. But sometimes like I'll stop myself and I'm like, man, that's kind of a crazy, stupid idea. I don't know if I should do that. And I talk myself out of it. but then I see someone post something similar later on and I'm like, crap, I should have done that. So like, even if you think it's a crazy idea, write it down and do it. Like show them like how excited you are for the business. You know what I'm saying? Cause they're going to be like, again, they're going to be like what there's other consultants that will rap to songs about, you know, about their bar and stuff. And people, and it's awful. Like they sing horribly bad, but people love it because they're putting themselves out there. And that's what we need to do. So you got to get ready to be uncomfortable. And I don't say that in a bad way. I'm saying that because being uncomfortable, you're only going to see your paycheck grow. You're only going to see your team grow. You're only going to see your self-confidence grow. Your, you know, like your friend base grow. Like everything's just going to grow in a positive way if you put yourself out there and go for it.
Mm-hmm. And you do have to get uncomfortable. Like that's the only way you're going to grow. And the only way, like, you know, like Cassie was talking kind of about before about sponsoring, like maybe you haven't sponsored yet. I don't want you to think like, oh, I haven't yet, so I'm never going to, because that's like saying, well, then I'm just giving up because I've had 4 conversations and, you know, I've never been able to sponsor someone. We have to do the things that people aren't doing to get the results. How does that saying go? Like, no, I thought I had it and I don't. You have to do the things that make you uncomfortable to get you to where you've never been. Like you just have to. And it comes to the point where I love this time of year because it's always like, I can start fresh. Like, here we go. Like, this is a perfect spot to change direction. Maybe you haven't been doing your business like you want to. Okay, then change. Go a different avenue. Go a different way. Maybe you're like, I really don't like how I do XYZ. Okay, go this way. Let's go down this road. Because you're not stuck in a spot forever. And then consistently, back to what Kate was kind of saying before, is consistently talk about the things like join, like buy, like host. I started, like, they were talking about this in that call yesterday about like, how often do you talk about sponsoring? I'm like, oh, I should not go back and look in my feed, like my business like page or my VIP page. It's not good. Like, I'm not consistent at doing it. So I really think that scheduling posts would be a really good thing for even just buy, host, join, right? You could put in the mission statement every like other week, maybe, or something. Just post it, and you know, with a pretty graphic. Just having some of that stuff done will make you more consistent. If we can be more consistent, then we're going to get more consistent results, which I am not consistent. So I'm really, really like, that's one thing that I'm going to change in my business. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to make sure that they're all scheduled out. And can't you in Visly or ScentShare, like you could purchase a program and you can go for like months out, right? Like, I'm pretty sure you can with you just scheduling on Facebook through your business page. I mean, you could sit and do it, but I think you can add like repetitiveness if you have like either Visly or ScentShare. I think there's another one too that you can add, and it can be like every 4th week it goes out. Like, how easy would that be? Like if you had one post go every 4 weeks and you know that it's just out there, that'd be pretty cool.
I know on some of those outside platforms that do the posting, you have to be in a group. So it just depends on which one. I don't know about ScentShare, but I know Visibly you have to be in a group.
Okay, sure.
Post, but there's a lot of different things out there. Actually, like even if you don't want to do Facebook, you could do like there's text messaging apps. There's all sorts of things if that's the route you want to go.
Right. And one thing I
wanted to just add in that whenever I mention like an incentive to a new person, whether it's a newbie that I've just recruited or maybe they haven't promoted the way they wanted to. A lot of times we'll think, oh, well, I don't have a chance because I am a certified or an essential consultant or a lead consultant, when actually you have more opportunities to promote and to get the points you need to earn these trips more so. And yes, it includes sponsoring, but the track is a lot clearer in that, with those of you that and your newbies that are going to be coming and joining you to earn. Just think of it that way. You're offering this opportunity to someone to potentially get this like amazing vacation because they have a better chance, or they have an easier track, a clearer path to get there than some of the rest of us. So just think of that. And when you say that to someone, usually their eyes get really big and they're like, really? I thought I had to be, already in it. And it's like, no.
Just doing the math really quickly. If you want to earn it for a cruise for 1, level 2, and if you're an essential consultant right now, you can earn all of your sponsoring points by hitting star consultant. So certified, lead, and star, but you're also going to get points for adding people onto your team. Like, to think like a star consultant can hit numbers with anywhere from like 10 to 20 people on their team, right? So then if you sponsor 5 and then you teach those people how to sponsor, and it's contagious when it goes fun, like Courtney and Christy had last winter, right? Like it just boom, 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 like exploded. Hope, I'm pretty sure you were part of that explosion, right? So, like it can happen. You have a way better chance than I have for this trip because I get zero of the personal promotion. As you can see, I have nothing in there because I cannot get any. So, it's totally doable. It's, yeah, it's very doable.
One thing I want to add too, is don't compare yourself to other people and their journeys. Like, so I have to tell myself to refocus when I see these people and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to get there? No, I have to stop myself and be like, Katie, stay on your track, stay on your lane, because like you comparing yourself to somebody else is going to totally ruin you. So stay on your plan. And if you have to adjust it, like Ann said earlier, if you have to adjust it, because guarantee you're going to have to adjust it some way, shape, or form. You will do it. That's fine. Adjust it, but don't compare yourself to other people. And because if you do that, you're going to get discouraged, and then you're going to throw the papers up in the air and say, I'm done. So just take, 30 seconds and regroup your mindset. When you start having a negative mindset, say, nope, I'm not going to think like that. What I'm going to do is I got to pivot. I got to figure out a different way I'm going to do this. So, and if you have to get in touch with us and be like, yo, what can I do? I'm stuck. Guess what? We're going to help you out and try to redirect you on different ways you can do stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Kate, I was just going to talk about mindset because I think mindset is so big. You have not read The Secret Code of Success, I would highly recommend reading it because it talks about affirmations and affirmations, and mindset is so important, right? Like it's so easy to say, oh, but Kate has all the sponsoring points and I don't have any, or oh my gosh, like poor me. Nope. But if we can redirect our thoughts, because we all have negative thoughts, we all battle with that. I know we do. But we can train our brain. That's another really good book, Train Your Brain and the 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. Fabulous books. They all help you with overcoming what is in our head and how we can push past it. So Mel Robbins is a really good one, just didn't even think I was going to talk about this, but the 5-second rule. So saying, if I'm like Kate was talking about how she has these ideas and she writes them down and then she goes and does them. If you are really good at that, like writing down a list, but you don't execute the list, Tell yourself 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just go do it. Okay. Don't think about it anymore. Just do it and see what happens. Really hard, but really cool. I do it with my kids all the time to get them to redirect their brain to go like, okay, I need you to do the laundry. No, I don't want to. We fight back and forth. I'm like, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we just get up and we go do it together. Like just getting them in that motion of just going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Or, getting up to go wherever. We say it all the time. Can you say something, Kate?
No, I was just looking at my paper, like,
Sure.
Yeah.
So the secret code of success, very good. Noah St. John. I love this book. I've talked about it at World Tour, but right as COVID was happening, like right before we all shut down. It is amazing. Even if you go find quotes from him. But there's so many things that you could take from this. Here, let me find. He has exercises in here, which are really, really great. It's an easy read. It's so good, even just with business, but also life in general. But just different affirmations. Why do I have so much support in my life? Why are leaders so magnetized to me? Why do I take responsibility for doing the things that fill my tank? Why do I use energy so effectively? Why do I throw things away that no longer fit who I really am? Why do I enjoy keeping my outer environment clean? Why do I love keeping my inner environment clean? Why do I listen to the intuition when making big decisions? Why do I take responsibility for simplifying my life, for simplifying my business, for simplifying sponsoring, whatever you want it to be? Why do I enjoy simplifying my life and streamlining my business? Like, it's good stuff. I kind of should listen to this again, I think. Especially when I'm in the shower, right? Like, that's the perfect time to listen to a book when you're doing something that you should be doing every day. Or every other, or every third, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of the basics of the incentive trip. There's a ton of different trackers out there. There's this one. I don't know where I got all these, but there is so many different trackers. If you're more of a visual person, then find one. Scentsy's got this one. That's pretty cool. You can fill in the little dots.
I didn't even see that one. Is that on the incentive?
page.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't even see that.
But this one's cool too, because you can like put in the people that you want to hit: certified, lead, star, superstar consultant, or director. Like that kind of keeps you accountable of who you're checking in with. There's just so much information out there that you can totally get bogged down. So you kind of have to go, okay, I'm going to pick one tracker and I'm going to track on one tracker. I'm going to use the Scentsy one, or I'm going to use the one, whatever. There's people making spreadsheets, so they have it automatically calculated. There's one on your workstation that you can use too. So it's like you don't even really have to have one. If you like this and you want to put it on your fridge and you want to put it in your car and you want to put it in your planner, whatever, that's great. Do that. Do you. Do what is going to work best for you and what feels good for you and what brings you joy. If coloring in those little dots bring you joy, then do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Even like, where's that one from Scentsy? This one. I was even thinking, like, even if I had like, what if I did all of these for conversations of sponsoring or party conversations, and I had a little key, and maybe it wasn't, I'm not tracking my points, but maybe I'm tracking something else, like something that you can track. Like maybe, red is sponsoring conversation, and blue is party conversations, and yellow is buy conversations. And then I think you would start to see your trend, right? Oh, I've got a lot of blue, but I don't have any red, or I don't have any yellow. Like, okay, let's go do that. Like now, today I need to do more of that. So just trying to focus in on what we're doing so that we can make sure that we're completing all of the things under the umbrella, the buy, the host, the join.
Or maybe you've been with Scentsy for a minute and you don't even know where to begin with looking for people. Start with this. Start with yourself. Okay, maybe you go to church. Okay, so what people do I know at church? And write those names down. Or maybe you go to the gym. Not me, but if you go to the gym, write those names down, like of people that are at the gym, the school, your job. So right there, you're already building a list of people that reach out to those people. So that's how you can get to your list of 100, if you will, because technically if I sit there and I'm like, okay, 100 people, let's write their name.
Yeah.
Blank. So this, again, I'm a visual person. I like to be able to see, okay, if I go to church, these are the people that I know. If I go to the gym, these are the people that I know or get to know, or, so that's just another way to kind of start out. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Where do I begin? Well, right there, you can start having, join host by conversations.
Mhm.
I think,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I think the coolest thing that we have to our advantage, this catalog, is those air purifiers. It is a brand new product to connect with our current customers, and it is the best way to start a random conversation in a way that isn't like, oh my gosh, like what, but especially if you're branded and they're like, oh, Scentsy, I love Scentsy. Hey, did you see that we got a new air purifier? Do you have one in your house? Like, boom. Yes or no? Then you're going to know, right? And then you can ask another question from there. But just try to find something that you can be excited about, share something new, so that when you start those new exciting conversations, then it's going to lead to other things. And you don't have to ask someone to join right away in the first conversation, or you don't have to, don't feel like you have to have an instant, like they have to buy, join, or host. Like sometimes, a lot of times, you got to build a relationship before you can ask some of those things. Especially, I can't see what it says. Build relationships. Especially building relationships if you just, hey, let's be friends on Facebook or whatever. Like at sporting, like it's just funny. Harris was in golf, and I've seen these moms forever, right? And then now, like, we're getting to be Facebook friends and da 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 da. And then they're starting to see more of like the BMX stuff. Well, because I post way too much BMX and I don't post any Scentsy. But then like now all these like other little boys want to join BMX, and it's great. But I'm like, what am I doing? I am not sharing my business. Like I am sharing the BMX world, which is great. But I have to sprinkle in those posts, because if they're seeing information like that, then they will also see my Scentsy posts as well. So I have to get better at that. But it does work. It works absolutely. If you become Facebook friends and you just let it be, you let that relationship kind of foster itself, and then something will happen from it. Cassie, what were you going to say?
Mine was more something that I think would be helpful to help people envision how awesome it could be. So for those of us that have earned, whether it be reunion or a trip, like one of the other trips, I think before this call is done, we should share one awesome thing from it. Because if you haven't been on a Scentsy trip, like honestly, before I earned, I was like, that sounds fun. Like I like to travel, but like it really wasn't as like motivating for me because I hadn't experienced it yet. I didn't know what I was missing. The FOMO wasn't there yet. And so I had to really just tell myself, like, no, you want this, like, keep working, and then you'll experience it, and then I'm sure it'll be great. And it was more than great. And so I think if we share some, like, one or two things that really stood out to us that is different about traveling with Scentsy on these incentive trips versus paying for your own vacation or just going by yourself with your family. So maybe that will help get people thinking about how cool this could be. Not just about like points and sponsoring and like, yes, that all of this is meant to grow your business, right? Like this is all meant to help you get to whatever goal you want. But since he just loves us and just adds in extra fun things along the way. So that was my thing. I thought if we could all share one or two things.
Go for it. What were your highlights?
So I went to Marco Island. Chad and I both went for free. Income disclosure there, whatever. And then I also took Reunion in California. And my favorite things were the room drops and the VIP treatment. Like you don't have to plan for transportation. You don't have to plan for food. You don't have, I mean, yeah, obviously there's on vacations, you have to go and like search some things out. And if you want specific things, but they take care of you. Like I loved the room drops. I love coming back to my room being like, what is here now? And so that, and then, like I said, you don't have to figure out transportation because that can be a headache. Like when you're getting out of the airport, you're traveling to a resort somewhere and you're like, where do I go? What do I take? You have to, they just do it for you. There's like signs and there's like all this joy and happy Scentsy people all around. Those are my two favorites if I had to talk about them.
Kate or Nellie, do you want to go?
I was waiting to see if Nellie's little mute button would go off. And I'm like, yeah, I think, okay, so it's a little bit different for me because, well, most of you guys know me on here. So when I earned the trip to Punta Cana, it was more of, I did it. Like, cause I didn't have any confidence in myself. So when Scott and I got down to Punta Cana, like I seen on the screen, it was like, welcome Katie Howlett. And I was like, holy moly, I did it. And that's actually when Scott became a believer though, more so. So then he was on board with what I was doing. So see, this is the part where you got to know your why. Yes, it's going to make you, it's going to make you cry. So know your why. And the why is me building my confidence and me building something that I never thought I was going to be. So those are when I earn an incentive, I was like, I did it. That's what gets my goal. It's not the money. I love being around like all of you guys. And that's what I get excited for. And it's kind of funny is because when Scott and I were, we're going to renew our vows and Scott's like, who are we going to invite? And I'm like, and I'm going to invite this person. And like, they're all Scentsy. And I'm like, yeah, I might invite my dad, or my mom, whatever, but it's like all these Scentsy people. So it's that kind of like, I built all these relationships and you guys are all my friends and I just want to see you all. That's kind of my thing and just have fun.
So for me, the very first incentive that I earned was actually Reunion in 2015. It was in Vegas and it was my second time to Vegas, but it was Matt's first time. And like you, Kate, it was kind of the same thing. That was when he got on board and became a believer. And then once I earned a trip for the two of us to go for free, and that was to the Mediterranean, like that was something that I didn't know that I ever wanted to do, but it was a trip of a lifetime. And the memories that we have and the people that we've met throughout this whole journey in the last 10 years with Scentsy is irreplaceable. Like it's like a big wow, and just the things that we've done. Like I didn't know I'd ever go deep sea fishing, right, Kate? Like I didn't know I'd ever go on a cruise before. I didn't know I'd ever set foot in Italy or Spain, or we didn't get off the boat in France, but we were in the waters. So it's allowing Scentsy to spoil you during these trips too. Like Cassie said, like we went to Disney and not this year, but the last one in 16. And we didn't earn for all of us, but our whole family went. We did pay So we could all go, but we had an experience that we wouldn't have otherwise had. Like I would have never been able to afford to do Scentsy or Disney the Scentsy way. You would never be able to afford to do any of these trips the Scentsy way. You'd be looking for the cheaper hotels and the cheaper, whatever. You wouldn't have the dinners, you wouldn't have just the overall experiences, the parties that they do, the food that you eat, like all the things. You just would never experience any of that any other way.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like you kind of forget. So Hawaii, I earned by myself and I went by myself. Then the next year we was the very first Disney incentive trip and I earned it for Tony and I, and that was Tony's first one. He kind of saw the vision right away, but that helped a lot to have him there. And we thought, oh, really, we're gonna go to Disney without any kids? We had the best time ever. But like Nellie said, we would have never experienced Disney like Scentsy does Disney. They had private showings. They had the cast made up private like dances for us at one of our farewell dinner that they had never seen before or done before. Like it was just for Scentsy people. We had fireworks in the rain. Like it was so cool. But I think our favorite trip as a couple was a very small, very intimate. There was only like less than 400 people, and we were at Charleston, South Carolina. Again, didn't really know that I ever needed to go to Charleston, but it was probably our absolute favorite because it was so intimate. We really got to meet the people that we were with. And by far, those people are like, they're just amazing. We didn't have kids. I was pregnant with Harlow at the time, but those people that we met are like aunts and uncles to my kids just because of the time that we were able to spend with each other. We never really get to see them in person, but FaceTimes and phone calls and text messages and just social media, it just keeps everyone connected. But to really think about, like, you kind of forget, like, the food is top notch. Charleston, we went to 2 different plantations. We had this amazing dinner under this big tent, and it was just literally the best food we had ever had on any trip. We have, like thinking about Punta Cana, they had white parties and, it was all inclusive. So it didn't matter where you went on the resort. It was super like, just go eat wherever you want, go swim wherever you want, like go drink wherever you want. That was really cool. I mean, you can't travel like Scentsy travels. It's just different. I mean, you could, but you would pay more than, working hard for earning it. But there's nothing that will replace it.
No. I also got this question a few days ago from someone who wants to join, and I was talking about the incentive trips, and she was like, so are these like corporate events that you go and you have to go do all these things? And when you're on an incentive trip, you can do as much or as little as you want. So when Chad and I went to Marco Island at that point in time, we just wanted to get away from children. And Chad is not like, my husband is not like a big activities, like he likes to do things, but at that point we just wanted to sit on the beach and do nothing. And that's what we did. Like we were able to just sit, and we got to know some people that we would have never gotten to know that closely, like Pete and Lynn. It was amazing to just be able to hang out so intimately with them. And it's not like it's not a Scentsy family reunion. Like it's not a convention. It is a vacation that you do or you don't do what you want. Like we slept till 11 o'clock every day, and I woke up and I'm like, are we missing something? Because I kept feeling like, oh no, I overslept. And Chad's like, lay back down. Like we don't have to go anywhere. And it was amazing. It was just amazing. Just like everyone else was saying, the food, the experiences, like we would have never had a vacation like that.
And even if you take the reunion
Mhm.
option for your incentive, it's still great. Like still get a lot out of it. Yes, it's for your business, but it's such a great way to go and learn more about your business and to grow your business. I did the Anaheim reunion was my incentive, and that was awesome. Like, it was so fun. I think we went early. Didn't we go early or something? Like, we had an extra day and a half, or I don't know. I just remember eating tacos after taco after taco. And we found this really good pizza place, and like, stayed open till 2 a.m. So we would stand in line after Disney would close, and we would stand in line for this pizza. It was so good. Oh,
But those are the best things.
right. And
about
that's
it.
like, I think so much about like how lucky I am to travel with my kids right now with all of the biking. We try really hard to eat at different restaurants. We try really hard not to eat at chain restaurants. Tony will find the best donut place. Like, that's what Scentsy has taught us, right? That there is so much more out in this world that we know of, that we, do every day for daily life. Like, that brings us joy to go find the best donut place in Kansas City. Or like, we ate yet again this last weekend, Cassie, at the restaurant across from where we stayed at in Kansas City. Like, that is literally like the 4th or 5th time that we have been at that restaurant since Kansas City reunion. Like, you just find these really cool spots in cool towns that you might travel to again. It's just so crazy where Scentsy can take you.
And now to Alaska.
Yes.
I remember it was reunion, but it's still okay because I was so nervous about leaving my kids behind, like not behind, but leaving my kids for reunion. And I remember with rooming with you, Anne, and I was like, I remember telling you, I am so excited to see One Republic because they had a private concert for us. I'm like, I am so excited to see One Republic. And I just felt like a kid again. I didn't have to worry about all this stuff, and I could just be free, if that makes sense. I just felt like being a kid, and I love that feeling because I would love to be a kid again, to be honest with you.
You are kind of a kid right now with that hat.
Thanks, Skippy.
That is childlike wonder if we don't know what it is.
I want to do salmon.
You need to be like,
I know. I want to do salmon fishing. I don't even know if they let you off the boat, but I'm bringing my rod and I'm going to cast right off the dock, or not at the dock, but the deck.
I think you should do that.
I'm going to go halibut fishing, whatever I can do.
Kate'll be pulling in fish from her stateroom.
Scott will be holding her ankles so she doesn't go in because it's such a long drop.
I gotta fillet this.
I got it. Get me the net.
You'll see me run into the kitchen, throwing it right on the counter. Cook this bad boy up.
Yeah, right. So they'll have excursions that we'll be able to go and be a part of. Since he takes care of all that, you just click a little button that says, yep, I want to do this one, and I want to do that one, and I want to do this one, or whatever it is. Like, since he takes care of all of that, you can do more and above and beyond of whatever. Especially with it being a cruise, you'll have a time where you have to be back. But yeah, you can do as much or as little as you want. You don't even have to come out of your room if you really don't want to. So yeah.
One thing that I want to add too is the earners, and I don't know if it has anything to do with like earning plus title or how they actually do it, but based on how many points you earn, they will put you in a better room based on. Do you find that too, Anne? Like, have you noticed that? Like, some people will be in like presidential suites on some of these trips because they were top earners. And so, and then too, like another thing, work for the points, because you never know what's going to happen in the end. And just saying from a standpoint of I think it was the first one that I earned was actually the Bahamas, and I did not go. But the only way that I earned Bahamas was because they ended up reducing the points needed in order to earn the trip. Like last minute, it was a change that they had made. And so you never know. And like, let's say so you know how they do, I don't know, are they doing top 50? I haven't looked at this. They're
Top
okay.
25.
So top 100 or top 50 or whatever.
75.
Okay. So those people that earn top 75, some of those people might opt out of that specific trip.
Mhm.
And so if you're in the top 100, it could bounce down to you and give you the opportunity to go on the trip. So even though you're not in that top 75, like just work as hard as you can and do as much as you can, because you never know where it's going to lead you. You know, if you choose reunion, you might be in an awesome suite because you have, you know, the higher points or whatever you chose. So just something to think about.
And I'm willing to do like a Zoom call, like for 1 hour and just working. And I don't care if we're just sitting here in silence and we're just, you know, doing our postcards or whatever it is we're doing. We're following up with customers, like just to have that accountability right here. I'm totally game. So if that's something you guys want to set up, I'm totally okay with setting that up and just working for an hour or whatever.
Fall. I mean, come
Yeah.
fall. I won't have, I mean, God willing that we all go back to school. I won't have any kids like popping in and whatnot. So like sign me up. Or even like Zoom calls to talk about the incentive, or like if you're local, like meeting up. Because that was something that Nellie offered me like right from the get-go when I was first starting. Is you know, we would meet for coffee and you'd help me go through the points. And like that's kind of how I learned how to track and do all this before, you know, when, because I'm determined. And so that was helpful. So if anyone who's listening to this call or on right now needs that, regardless of where you're at, I would love to sit down and do it with you. Like I'm all about like low maintenance, writing it down, highlighters, putting it in the sheet that Kate posted in the event, you know, like strategizing, whatever you want to do. So, and I think, I'm sure everyone else here would, you know, say the same thing. So just reach out, or maybe we all just reach out to everyone, because I think it's hard. Like, I know it was Nellie, you're the one who was like, Cassie, we should meet. Like, we're going to do this. I'm like, okay, like, why not? And then that totally propelled me into this mode of like, I need to earn this. So I think that was really important for me early on.
Yeah, because that one-on-one, you get to figure out kind of what works for you. Like you can go through all of the things that Scentsy provides you, but that plan might not necessarily work for you, but it's also making it real for you too. Like, okay, if you break it down, like this is how many points that I need. This is where I'm going to get it, you know, my PRV and how I'm, you know, the recruiting. So I need to recruit this many people in order to earn this many points, you know, and help them promote and all that stuff. But breaking it down into bit by bit and actually making this plan, you know, if this is the first time you're doing it, sometimes having that one person, you know, working with you one-on-one makes it so much easier. And, you know, if you can't meet up, then Zoom's definitely work. But yeah, having coffee and just sitting down and hashing it all out is huge.
I remember you telling me, because my first one, or my first attempt to earn, we're talking about sponsoring, and I was like, I can't do that. And you were like, yes, you can. And I'm like, I can't do that. And you're like, yes, you can. Because sometimes you need someone to give you feedback and that like oomph and that support and that, you know, motivation to just go after it. Like you had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And you have to almost, those new, like as we very first in the call, when we were talking about like, look at your front line, right? And find those people that need to advance or whatever. You, like when I said reach out to them, that's what you're doing. You're giving them the belief that they can earn this because they need that, especially those essentials, those certifieds. Like if we don't have those conversations, they probably won't think that they can earn it. But if we're contacting them and saying, hey, you have a really good shot at this. Like, I just started another consultant that I just hired last month. I keep telling her, like, come on, like you can earn this trip. Like, I know you can. Like, let's just start going. Let's just start getting those parties booked. Let's get some orders in, because I know you can earn it. Like, I know you just started, but I know you can earn it. So it's giving those people that belief, because a lot of times when you start a business, you don't have that like strong, oh, I can just totally earn that incentive trip for 2 to Alaska. Like,
Even those of us who've been around for a little bit, sometimes you like lose your groove and you're like, oh, can't do that anymore. Like, no. And these kind of calls and group and just hearing everyone else's I mean, even Kate's hat, like, honestly, I'm like, I do not wear hats because I look like bozo, but I kind of want a hat, to have lures hanging out, because that's awesome. Like, that gets you like going to be like, yeah, I'm totally gonna be on that boat.
So when we're all on the boat, we're all gonna get hats and we're gonna buy a lure, and that's gonna be a memory from the Alaska trip.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Deal.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna end this because I don't want to get it too long where people won't watch it. But thank you for all the feedback. I'm sure we'll be talking more about the trip. Again, like we talked about that other group, if you want to join that, you have until tonight basically to say, yes, I want in, because it started today. And it is a 9-week class course group that each week you get information, and then there's like 3 or 4 superstar directors that are going live each week about that topic. So you're learning from a bunch of different people, about a bunch of different regions, which is really cool, which is fun. It's just different sometimes when you start talking to someone in Canada versus how it is here in the US. So if you want into that, you gotta let me know. And we'll go from there.
And you started that group chat, right? The group chat. So everyone that opted into doing the homework and all that stuff, because I didn't even see the homework from today that was posted in the group. So can we help each other out? Be like, hey guys, remember to do that homework, and just let's encourage each other. And if you have questions, post those questions in there. Or if you have something to celebrate, woohoo, I got a recruit today. Let's all celebrate it. And if you're discouraged, we'll jump in together and we'll be like, hey, let's throw some ideas out there for you to work on, or for something for you to do. So let's utilize that chat and just keep each other going.
I agree.
Can you add me to all of these things? The group chat and then the group, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Whoop, whoop. I really like listening. This morning I focused and listened to the talk from yesterday. Was it that she posted it, or today? It was great. Loved it. Like, I wrote down, you have to believe that there's just so many cool nuggets that you get from other perspectives that it was huge. I think that's why this group is going to just be amazing. All right.
Cool. All right, you guys, have a good night. Thanks for hopping on and watching the replay. If you watch the replay, thank you.